Hey guys, this is number 3 of Unit 4 practice exam. So in this problem, we have an RLC circuit, series circuit, with a, I can't speak right now. Hello guys, this is number 3 for Unit 4 practice exam. We'll be going over an RLC series circuit. It has an L of 10 henries. I got that listed. I have an R of 120 ohms. I got that listed. C is 1/1000 farads, and it is driven by a voltage equation of E of t, which equals 17 sine 2t, and we're given I of 0 equals 0, and Q of 0, which equals 1/2000 coulombs. And just to help you understand a little bit better the amps and current and coulombs and stuff, so Q represents charge, while I is amps, which represents the change in charge. Which then means I equals dq dt. So means a change of charge over time, while Q is just charge. So coulombs is a charge value, while amps, in this case 0, is a change of charge. It is coulombs per second. So just want to help you understand that. So that's why you're able to go from this equation here, if I can get it, to this equation here. That much of an issue. All it is just taking a derivative. Alright, so now what you're asked to find is the steady state current of the circuit. So steady state current, so when we're dealing with steady state, so steady state always implies Y sub P. In this case it's current, so current is I, which is amps, so that implies we need to solve for I sub P. So since we need to solve for I sub P, I would choose an equation that has solely just I's in it. This middle equation will work out just fine. So we're going to go ahead and plug in all of our values. So L is 10 for my I double prime, plus R, which is 120 I prime, and then plus 1 over C. So C is already 1/1000, so 1/1000 is just 1000, times I, and that equals E prime, which I already solved down here, which is 34 cosine 2t. Right. So since we're trying to solve for I sub P, we're going to look at this right side here. So right side, I sub P, so that implies I sub P equals A cosine of 2t plus B sine 2t. The reason that is, even though we have only just a cosine, that means that there's both a sine and a cosine, the right side being applied. That's why we have to have an A cosine and B sine for our I sub P. So then we need to solve for I sub P prime, which equals 2a, negative 2a sine 2t plus 2b cosine 2t. I double prime equals negative 4a cosine 2t, and the other term is 4b sine 2t, and that's negative, so minus. Now we're going to plug this back into the original equation we have. It's going to be a long doozy one, so it's going to become 10 times negative 4a cosine 2t minus 4b sine 2t plus 120 I prime sub p, which is negative 2a sine 2t plus 2b cosine 2t. And as I said in the other video, remember this is not a lot of like new stuff in the sense we're doing new types of math. We're just now finally applying all the different things we've learned into things that are applicable and relatable to the real world. So, although it seems harder, it's still the same stuff we've been doing the past few months, couple months. And just because it's a new format, don't let it deceive you or make you feel uncomfortable. It's still all the same math that you've been doing. And even if it doesn't exactly make 100% sense in time, it will click the more and more practice problems you do. I'm going to move this over so it's all on the white part of the page. Just because I like that better. All right, so then our next step, I'm going to write this in purple so it's easier for you to see and follow what I do, is we're going to do equating coefficients. So we're going to equate the left side to the right side. So I'm going to make a sine equation and a cosine equation. So my sine equation I'm going to do first, so I'm going to take my number, so 10 times whatever is to our sine, so we have negative 4b here. So I have negative 40b for my first term, dealing with sine, plus 120 times negative 2a, so it's going to be minus 240a, and then lastly we have 1,000 times b sine 2t, so we have plus 1,000 b. And then since we're equating this to the right side of the equation, there is no sine, so that implies we have a 0. So it's 0 sine over here. So remember, this is like coefficients because we're only going to combine things that have a sine 2t in it. So there's no sine 2t over here, so we assume that our coefficient is 0. So this equates to 0. Now cosine, same deal. 10 times negative 4a, so negative 40a, plus 120 times 2b, so plus 240b, and then lastly plus 1,000a, because 1,000 times a cosine t, and this all equals 34. So now we're going to solve for one of the equations. We're going to do this first equation. We're going to solve for one of the variables. We're going to solve for, let's go with a. So then a would equal 1,000b, or b, yeah, it would be 1,000b minus 40b all over 240a. Sorry, just 240. So if you are kind of confused by the signs, it's really negative 1,000b plus 40 divided by negative 240, based off the numbers we have on the left side, but both ways were the same. So now this is going to equal, not 1,000, 960 divided by 240. Remember, this is positive because the negatives cancel out, makes this negative. And then 960 divided by 240, I believe that is 4. Yeah, 4. Cancel out. 96 divided by 24. Yeah, 4. So a equals 4. And then this makes this work out. So we have 240b. We have 1,000a minus 90, so plus 960a equals 34, which then applies, we'll do on this one. B equals 34 minus 960 times 4, all divided by 240. Not sure how well it's going to work out. So I'm going to use a calculator just for, actually no, I won't use a calculator because I want to show that you all can do it too without needing a calculator. A little bit harder, but not that much more. All right, so oh, let's see what they're. All right, so now that we have, sorry, I forgot my B and my 4B. So now we have our A relation, A equals 4B. Now we can plug that back in to the cosine equation. So that implies we have, so 1000A minus 40, so 960A plus 240, oh, whoops, yeah, 240B equals 34. I'm going to plug that 4B in for my 960. So we're going to get 4 times 960, so it's going to be, so will equal 960 times 4B plus 240B equals 34. And then this implies, and a good way you can do it, you can factor out some stuff here. So you can factor out 240 from each term before we multiply. So you have 240, which makes it 4 times 4B plus B equals 34. Oh, that was bad. 34, which then equals 240 times 17B equals 34, which then implies B equals, it's going to become 34 over 17, which is 2, all over 240, so it equals 2 over 120, which equals 1 over 60. Ooh, my bad. Actually, that equals 1 over 120. That's my bad. Might be. And yeah, since it equals 1 over 120, and that means A equals 4 times 1 over 20, which equals 1 over 30. It's B times 4. So that implies our I sub P equals A, which is 130, 1 over 30, times cosine 2t, plus B, which is 1 over 120, sine of 2t. And this equals your I for SS, steady state.